Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in today to Press Pause. As you can see, I is getting ready to go back to school to Hogwarts. I is a Gryffindor, and I love my school so much. So in light of that, I want to show you guys a little bit about Hogwarts. My dad and myself, will be giving you a tour and information on the greatest school in the world, Hogwarts. Hope you enjoy.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to Press Pause today. We are really excited to get into today's topic. Again, we're talking about one of the subjects we've talked about quite a bit recently, and it's one of our favorites, that is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and the world of Harry Potter. So as Aurora mentioned, we are getting ready to go back to school. As for my nieces, we are attending Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and Aurora is a Gryffindor, even though she can't pronounce it correctly. I am a Ravenclaw, and yeah, we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on Hogwarts itself, the school. There's a lot of things obviously seen in the movies, and we would like to make sure that there's other details that you guys are informed about, things that actually are part of the school, the history of the school, things like that. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of enlightenment. We hope you enjoy the content. If you do, please feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on if we do something nice, if there's something interesting that we provided that you really enjoyed, or if there's something that you want to hear more information about. Let us know in the comments. It does help the channel out a lot, helps it get viewed more on YouTube. We are official free travel agents, so if you guys want to go down and see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando or over in California, reach out to us, and we'd love to help you book your next set of magical memories here with us. And we love visiting the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and give you guys all the ins and outs of those areas. First off, we're going to talk about the basics, guys. The Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, or Hogwarts for short, which is what everybody calls it, accepted magical students mainly from Great Britain and Ireland for enrollment. However, they did accept other students from other areas on different occasions. It was a state-owned school, and it was actually funded by the Ministry of Magic. So if you were ever wondering, what does the school do for funding? How does it make its money? How does it be able to afford everything it's doing for these students? It is because it is funded by the Ministry of Magic. That's why the Ministry of Magic actually could get involved in the school later on, because it is not a private institution, it is state-owned. So, location. First off, guys, let's talk about the location here. It is in the Scottish Highlands. That is where the school is located, although the exact location was never uncovered, and is never uncovered, as it was rendered unplottable. And for those of you who don't know, unplottable, I'm not just saying that it's not plotted somewhere on maps. I'm saying that unplottable is actually a charm. It's actually a charm that you can cast over a particular area. So the unplottable charm actually makes an area unvisible, not invisible, but unvisible, I don't know, to maps. So essentially, Hogwarts will be excluded from maps. You will not be able to easily find it. It is really kind of hidden away. So the location, the charm hides areas from sight and removes it from any maps. This is to provide protection and safety to the area being unplotted. Hogwarts is not the only place that has the unplottable charm on it, but it is one of the most known ones. There are many others, mostly other schools, but there are places like the House of Black and things like that that are also unplottable as well. Now, the appearance to Muggles. Many of you probably wonder, what does the school look like to Muggles? And when I've taken my family out to Hogwarts and I have not given them a charm to see the school the correct way, it's interesting to hear what they say. For Muggles, when they are standing outside the school, if they happen to stumble upon it, it looks like old abandoned castles. It also has signs around it, warning for different dangers and things like that, to keep people from trespassing and going into that area and possibly actually stumble upon the school itself. That is very interesting to me. It's an amazing charm that's put on the school to kind of hide it from Muggles when they possibly would come up on it. If you have traveled to Scotland, maybe you've even walked on the grounds without knowing it. Who knows? Let us know in the comments if you've been to Scotland and you've seen some old castle ruins in the distance, and maybe, just maybe, you were really close to Hogwarts and didn't even know it. The early years, okay? The early years of Hogwarts, the school was founded in the 10th century, okay? That's a very long time ago for those of you who are not aware. It was one of the finest magical institutions in the world when it was first created, and the founders were four of the greatest wizards of their age, and that was Rowena Ravenclaw, Helga Hufflepuff, Godric Gryffindor, and Salazar Slytherin. Yes, we know about many of them from the movies and from the books, which you know a good amount of them already, so we're not going to dive into those characteristics because we did get a good amount from them so far. The school motto is actually Draco Dormiens Nunquam Titilandus, I know I'm mispronouncing that, which means never tickle a sleeping dragon. Okay, clearly they don't make us practice the motto very often at school because I barely can pronounce it, and I have to sit and look at it to actually say it. So never tickle a sleeping dragon, which I think are words that everybody should live by because you do not want to wake a sleeping dragon. As we saw in the Hobbit movies, jumping to a different IP, when Bilbo woke up Smaug. Now, looking at the students, guys. The students of Hogwarts accepted magical students, mainly from Great Britain and Ireland, like we said, but it was a state-owned school. It was run by the Ministry of Magic, so there were exceptions. Looking at the houses, students were sorted into houses that matched their personality traits, okay? This allowed them to be around like-minded students in their dormitories and would continue to foster their qualities. The things that they are good at, the things that are just naturally in their nature are going to be fostered in a positive way. This also allowed for less in-dormitory fighting because the personalities matched for the most part. This allowed just for better overall behavior from the students. There wasn't a lot of fighting within the houses. Now, obviously, outside the houses, yeah, they're gonna have clashes and things like that with personalities, obviously, because they're all different personalities when you take in the other houses. But overall, a very good strategy there, and many of us are aware of most of the houses based on the movies and based on books. Now, featured areas. Guys, this is a huge part of Harry Potter, is showing the different areas around the school. First off is the Black Lake. This is a loch that's on the grounds, which is a large body of water. It's called the Black Lake, and this lake was the transportation method for the first years. They would get in boats and they would actually float across to get to the school. That was the first year's way of getting to the school from the train station, and we saw that in the original movie, The Sorcerer's Stone, and it turned out really, really well. It looked really cool, amazing atmosphere when we get to see it. The other time that we really got to see this featured was in the Goblet of Fire, because it was one of the Triwizard Tournament challenges, was to go underwater and rescue one of your friends down there. So really awesome experience to be able to see that, but that is one of the big features of the school, is the Black Lake, which houses magical creatures within it. The Quidditch pitch, okay? Next, this is an area pretty much like a stadium or arena that a college will have on campus, but it is a Quidditch pitch. So it is a stadium that is for Quidditch, and this is where they foster competition and foster, athletic abilities and things like that from the students of Hogwarts. And they have competitions between the different houses all throughout the year. We got to see this many times throughout the books and the movies, and ultimately is one of the great features that we have on campus. The castle itself, okay? The castle itself, we're gonna give you more information on it, but the castle itself stood on a large rock formation that made a cliff that went all the way down to the Black Lake. It's basically in the center of the area of Hogwarts grounds, and that is the school itself is within the castle. The Forbidden Forest. The Forbidden Forest is home to many magical creatures and sits within the Hogwarts grounds. This location is heavily featured in the books and the movies, and there's a plethora, like we said, of magical creatures all in there. We got to see the centaurs, we got to see unicorns, things like that. Now, the Founder Rooms, okay? This is something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, don't necessarily know about. We all know about the Chamber of Secrets, okay? The Chamber of Secrets within the school was, Salazar Slytherin's chamber that he made, and obviously he did not tell the other founders of the school about this location. This is something that many have speculated, are there other chambers? Are there other areas, rooms, things like that from the other founders of the school? While I don't think that there is, there are also rumors of different things that the founders did that could be a part of them within the school, and that's something that we're going to talk about. So Slytherin's Chamber of Secrets, it was built as a hidden room in the castle. It had Salazar Slytherin's own personal touch. If you looked at the location from the movies and heard it from the books, there wasn't really much to do within that room except housing the basilisk that was the pet of Salazar Slytherin. So that is something that's very interesting to me because it didn't look like there were any other functions. There was no rooms, there was not a desk, there was not potions and things sitting around. It was just basically a home for the basilisk that allowed it to get into the plumbing of the school, which was very interesting to me that it wasn't multifunctional. Now, there are a lot of rumors and things about what other areas could have been created by the other founders. Now, I'm going to give my theory as to what those are, and you guys can, think about it on your own and let us know. But essentially, Rowena Ravenclaw. For us, we believe that Rowena Ravenclaw actually built the library. If you look at it, her school is based on being wise, being clever, being smart, and a library is where you foster that. So I am a Ravenclaw myself, although I don't venture into the library very often. I don't like to read all that much. I do maintain, putting in a lot of information to my system, whether it's via videos or via audio and things like that, and I'm able to retain that quite a bit. So the library itself, because of that's where you grow to foster your knowledge and your wisdom and things like that, I believe that that was Rowena Ravenclaw's contribution to the school. Next is the Headmaster's Chamber. This, to me, I believe was Godric Gryffindor's design. I believe that he did the chamber, made the chamber himself. So the only reason that we really believe that this was Godric Gryffindor's creating is because there's actually a griffin door to the Headmaster's Chambers. So it's a griffin, and that is the door to get to the Headmaster's Chambers. Obviously, Gryffindor was the house that he created, and it's his last name. So that's why we believe that that is what he chose to make. And then the Great Hall. We actually believe that this was Helga Hufflepuff's doing, because if you look at her makeup, obviously she's known for her loyalty, which is why she would love a place where everybody can come together. All the houses can come together, which would be the Great Hall. Everybody can come together for food, and she actually had a great love for food, okay? This is the reason that we believe that the Great Hall is the room that Helga Hufflepuff made to sprinkle in just a little touch of her into the school. Now, another theory that I have is that the secret passages in and out of the school that we got to see in the Deathly Hallows movies, those and the Room of Requirement, I believe those were designed by none other than 3 of the founders, excluding Salazar Slytherin. I believe that the other founders knew Salazar Slytherin was doing something. I don't think that creating the school, there could be an entire chamber created by Salazar Slytherin that they had no clue that he was doing something. So during this time, I believe that they had an idea that he was making something there that wasn't good for the school and wasn't good for the students. They knew his ideology of only having purebloods and no muggle-born students attend the school. For this reason, I believe that Rowena Ravenclaw, Helga Hufflepuff, and Godric Gryffindor created these secret passages and created the Room of Requirement. These were ways that students could allow themselves to be safe within Hogwarts if something that Salazar Slytherin, say a basilisk, was unleashed into the school. There were secret passages to get out of the school. There was the Room of Requirement where you could go and possibly find refuge away from this beast. So I think those are things very interesting to me. Again, that's our theory. There's nothing really backing that up except for the fact that we believe that it's true and we think it could really fit well in the storyline of Harry Potter. Now, subtle features. We're going to talk about some subtle features before we wrap everything up in today's video. And the subtle features here is, look at the Great Hall. Okay, and obviously there's the night sky. We hear Hermione talk about how it is bewitched to look like the night sky. She read about that in a Hogwarts history. And this night sky in the Great Hall, it's actually something that most people don't know if you've only watched the movie, okay? I didn't read the book, so I don't know if it's revealed there either. However, the night sky actually has a charm that is implanted on it. And that charm is actually the Thieves' Downfall. We did get to see the Thieves' Downfall later in other movies when Harry, Hermione, and Ron were infiltrating with Griphook into Gringotts Bank. And basically the thief's downfall is a amount of water, rain, waterfall, whatever, that washes away all magical charms and magical, basically spells or potions and things. Any magical enchantment of some kind is washed away by those who are touched by this. It's very interesting that this was not really shown in the movies and the books, and also leaves kind of a plot hole in a way, because if you take a look at when Aleister Moody, which wasn't actually Aleister Moody, is actually a Death Eater that came into the school, Barty Crouch Jr., and the sky started to act up. The weather started to get bad, and it was possibly going to rain soon. This was actually because the school's own defenses of the thieves' downfall was actually going to wash away the magic of the Polyjuice Potion from Aleister Moody, or Barty Crouch Jr., to reveal the Death Eater that was there. Until Barty Crouch Jr. hexed back the ceiling and caused it not to rain and release the water of the thief's downfall. So this is something very interesting to me, because clearly Dumbledore should have known that this is an ability that the school has. He should have been aware of that, being the headmaster. Now maybe he didn't, but if he did, why is it that he didn't question Aleister Moody right away? When he walked in, the ceiling acts up, and he's the one that stops it from raining. Why is it that Albus Dumbledore didn't choose, or didn't think that something was wrong with Aleister Moody coming in and all that happening? The other thing that is kind of inconsistent with this is when you look at Professor Quirrell, and you had obviously a hex or curse of some kind that allowed Voldemort to attach to him in the first movie, Sorcerer's Stone. It's very interesting to me that it didn't act up at that point either, because to me that's inconsistent, when this should be a layer of protection that happens anytime that an intruder of some kind or dark magic of some kind is coming in the area. Now, it is possible that Quirrell came into the school and stopped the ceiling, used the same kind of curse on the ceiling that Barty Crouch Jr. did later on to keep it from doing the thief's downfall, and that is possible. Quirrell could have come in any time that he wanted when no one else was in the Great Hall before the semester even started, and jinxed the ceiling to allow him to be able to go in and out of that room without it happening. So that is plausible. I don't think that's a big loophole, but Albus Dumbledore should have been aware that something was going on. Next, another subtle feature actually was Snape's death scene. Many people have asked, I've heard many people ask, where in the heck was it that Snape and Voldemort were? Where were they? And this is probably people that watched the movie. Again, I haven't read the book, so maybe it's revealed in the book, but in the movies, it's not actually said where Severus Snape actually dies. So in the movie, you actually have Voldemort and Severus Snape actually talking. When they're sitting there and they're chatting about, his plan and the Elder Wand and all that stuff, there is a room with glass windows around it. It has opening to a waterway, looking kind of like boat slip dock type of setup. And that's actually what this is, guys. It is actually the boathouse. The boathouse is a facility at the bottom of the cliff from Hogwarts. So if you go down the cliff, down a set of stairs, you actually get to the boathouse. This is where the boats that take the first year students to Hogwarts actually dock and stay when they're not being used. That is something that many people don't know if you just watch the movies. There actually is a boathouse that houses all the boats, and that is where Severus Snape actually dies, is in the boathouse. So very interesting there, because again, most people wouldn't even know that it's there. And yeah, we just wanted to educate you guys on that. Next is the dorm locations, okay? So Slytherin and Hufflepuff. Slytherin, as we know, is located in the dungeons. This is probably something that Salazar Slytherin actually took pride in, of, oh, well, dark magic, and dark magic's okay, and we should be able to do that, and so our kids are going to be in the dungeon. We don't care. We don't need to have this lavish whatever location of our dorm, right? So it makes sense. They're actually in the dungeons, not any particular locations, not super close to anything particular in the dungeons. So there's nothing really crazy as far as that to link it to anything. But if you look at the next one, this is something many people don't know, especially if you watch the movies. I don't know if it's revealed in the books, but Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff's dormitories are actually located in the dungeon as well, okay? If you go and you take a look at the different maps that are out there of Hogwarts School, you will see that Hufflepuff is actually in the dungeons. Now, their dormitory is in the dungeons and, interestingly enough, located right next to the kitchens. This is because Helga Hufflepuff loved cooking. She loved food. So, naturally, her dorm was located next to the kitchens. It's not because she wanted them in the dungeon, but it is because she wanted them to be around the kitchen. And it would be interesting to me to see if the students of Hufflepuff help with cooking every now and then. I don't know. Maybe. They lived right beside the kitchen, so they obviously knew what was coming for dinner before they even got upstairs. Now, the other two is actually Ravenclaw and Gryffindor. Gryffindor was on the 4th or 5th floor of the castle. They were located in one of the towers, and that's why you can see, kind of rounded walls and stuff when you go into Harry's rooms. Harry and Ron, their rooms where their beds were. And so they were there. Obviously, they had some great outer views and stuff, landscaping and things like that they could look at, very good sky views. And then Ravenclaw as well. Ravenclaw was actually on the 6th or 7th floor. It was the tallest of where the dormitories were located, so it was actually a little bit higher than everybody else, which to me kind of makes a little bit of sense because it is the only animal of the house that is a bird. So, should be higher up, right? That's what you would think. Anyway, very interesting to me. I thought it would have made more sense for Ravenclaw, for our dormitories to be located over at the library because we're going to frequent that, But that was not the case. Gryffindor really could have been anywhere in the school, so the placement is fine. Hufflepuff, understanding that she loved the kitchen, I think that was good to have it in the dungeons where it is located. And Slytherin in the dungeons, I think it kind of makes sense. So Ravenclaw is the only one that's a little out of it for me. I would have honestly put them over there by the library, but just my opinion. Anyway, that is gonna do it for us. That is it for today's episode. Just a little bit of information about Hogwarts, getting you guys a little bit more detail on the school, things you may not have known about it in the past. If there are other things you want to know about the school, reach out. Let us know in the comments something you want to know more about. If you want to know about individual classrooms, or if you want to know about any of the other activities or other areas of study that were or weren't featured in the books and in the movies, let us know. We can educate you guys on those things. Just let us know. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you guys get more information. We love the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and would love to continue providing that information to you guys. So if you found this interesting and really enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would go a long way. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to go see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in California or Orlando anytime soon, reach out to us. We are officially free travel agents. We are free travel agents, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. So reach out to us. We'd love to help you book your next set of magical memories. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again on the next video.